And good morning and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV. Today is a busy day for patch 6.2 as it releases in just a couple of hours from now at the time of recording, but I thought we'd go over the complete patch notes and what's really been updated. Basically, there is only two things in this video: the battle system changes for PvE and the battle system job changes for PvP. So let's get straight to that. So obviously actions and traits have been adjusted. Each action and trait is listed as it appears at level 90. So obviously this is the way that things are changing. This is the way that they're scaling things around current content. So first of all, tank role actions. Provoke. The enmity generated has been increased. This is in line with the new enmity changes. I don't really see why Provoke needed to have more enmity generated. Maybe someone can tell me that, but apparently that's the case. So first of all, with the tanks, let's look at Paladin. We have Holy Spirit. Its potency's gone to 280 from 270. We've got a potency increase on Requesicat from 540 to 560 as well. Blade of Faith is up to 460 potency. That's an increase. Blade of Truth to 540. Blade of Valor to 620. So as you can see, an incremental increase across the board of damage that Paladin can put out with their Blade of combo. Now we'll look at Marauder / Warrior. So Maime's potency has been increased to 150 from 130, as well as its combo potency to 300 now. Storm's Path potency increased to 130, its combo potency up to 410. Storm's Eye 130 potency increase, as well as its combo to 410 as well. And Shake It Off, the effects of this action will now be applied more quickly. So as you can see, these are quite significant potency changes to pretty much all of the tanks, as far as I can tell. Dark Knight. Abyssal Drain, that potency has been increased from 150 to 240, quite considerable. Living Shadow, the effect duration has been reduced from 24 to 20 seconds. The Simulacrum will now always attack the first target the player attacks after it is summoned. The Simulacrum will no longer attack with Quietus, and Shadowbringer potency has been increased from 450 to 500. Its potency of all Simulacrum actions other than Shadowbringer have been increased from 300 to 350. So basically, Simulacrum lasts like a lot less time, like 4 seconds, but the potency increases are more than worth it by the looks of it. Those are quite considerable. And also the fact that it will always attack the target you attack. That's quite a nice change. I think most people will like that. Obviously with the potency on Abyssal Drain as well, bringing in line possibly with Warrior there with those increases. Gunbreaker then, as you can see, quite a few potency changes. Brutal Shell, potency to 130 from 120. Its combo potency up to 270. Solid Barrel, 140 potency from 120. 360 on its combo potency. Jugular Rip. So we've had some range changes. Its range has been increased to 5 yards. This applies to Abdomen Tear and Eye Gouge as well, which were all previously 3 yards. We've also got a potency increase on Fated Circle to 300, so 10 up from 290 that it was previously. Bloodfest, the recast time has been increased from 90 to 120 seconds. Hypervelocity, that range has gone up to 5 yards from 3. Blasting Zone, 720 potency from 700, and Double Down, the reduction in potency after the first target has been changed from 20% to 15%. So quite a few potency changes there, but mostly in terms of the distance. They'll be able to use a lot of their combo, especially with Jugular Rip, Abdomen Tear, etc., at a much greater distance, which is going to be considerable. Quite nice, I suppose, even if I think that's probably one of the weaker of the tank updates. Dragoon then, let's move on to melee. So Jump, the action will no longer be replaced by Mirage Dive while under the effect of Dive Ready. Following this change, Mirage Dive must now be set to the hotbar separately. The recast timer of Jump and High Jump no longer affects the execution of Mirage Dive. Oh, interesting. High Jump, the action will no longer be replaced by a Mirage Dive while under the effect of Dive Ready either. Okay, and that has to be set to the bar separately. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'll have to obviously try that in the game. I don't have any opinions at the moment. Samurai, Tenka Goken, potency increased to 300 from 280. You'll see a lot of potency changes here because Samurai obviously making up for their direct hit issue and the lack of Kaiten. Hisatsu Kyuten, 120 potency rather from 110. Guren, reduction in potency after the first target has been changed from 50% to 25%. Wow, that's actually significant. Okay, then. And Goken, we have a 300 potency. Will that be enough to sate the samurai? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Reaper, Slice up to 320 from 300 potency. Waxing Slice, potency is 160 now from 140, as well as a combo of 400 potency. An Infernal Slice up to 180 from 140 and 500 combo potency. So just straight up across the board of that combo, lots of potency increases. Machinist then, okay. Rook Auto Turret, duration no longer increases to a maximum of 15 seconds and is now fixed at 9 seconds. The base potency has been reduced from 70 to 35. The potency now increases as battery gauge exceeds required cost of time of deployment up to a maximum of 75. I'm not going to pretend to know what that means because I don't play Machinist. Interesting though. Rook Overdrive, base potency has been reduced from 320 to 160. The potency now increases as the battery gauge exceeds required cost at time of deployment up to a maximum of 320. Rook Overload, reduced potency base from 320 to 160 there as well. Potency with the battery gauge at the time of deployment up to 320. Those seem like considerable nerfs. I don't know. I have literally no idea when it comes to Machinists. Sorry. Automaton Queen. The Queen will now always attack the first target the player attacks after it's summoned. That's pretty good. It's a lot like the Dark Knight changes then. That's a change with AI, I would imagine. Duration no longer increases to a maximum of 20 seconds. It is now fixed at 12 seconds. Ooh. Less Queen? I don't think people will like that. The potency of Queen actions now increase as battery gauge exceeds required cost at time of deployment. Interesting. Roller Dash, potency now increases as the battery gauge exceeds from a minimum of 240 to maximum of 480. An Arm Punch, the same, but minimum of 120 up to a maximum of 240. So whilst there are some potency ups there are a few changes to it across the board that I don't fully understand, but it would appear from an outsider perspective that you get less time with Queen and less potency in, I don't know, some areas. I don't know. Let's go to something I do know what I'm talking about. Healers. So White Mage first, Liturgy of the Bell. The effect duration has been increased from 15 to 20 seconds. That's huge. The more bell, the better, right? The more bell lily. Scholar, Embrace no longer generates enmity. Seraphic Veil no longer generates enmity. And Fey Union no longer generates enmity when activating its HP restoration effect. So as basically of 6.2, you can pre-hot, you can pre-heal. I don't know if people are aware of the term hot, heal over time. You can pre-heal over time before pulls. Previously, this was a thing that was sort of frowned upon. Now you have no reason to. You can put anything you want. You can put regens on, you can do whatever. And it shouldn't snap enmity anymore, ever. Astrologian Redraw. The card drawn will never have the same astro sign as the card presently held. This change only applies from the level redraw is learned onwards. Interesting. That's an interesting change. Less, I suppose, more RNG? I don't know. Interesting. Minor Arcana. Action now changes to the drawn Arcanum. Minor changes overall, I think. Sage, then. My current job. Cardia no longer generates enmity when activating its HP restoration effect. Very nice. And Holos, the additional effect of Erexa Magic Barrier, which nullifies damage, equaling the amount of HP restored, has been added with a duration of 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, fine. Nothing major then for healers, other than we basically can just, heal without concern. A new trait has been added to Reaper, however. Death Scythe Mastery 2 at level 84 increases the potency of Slice to 320, Waxing Slice to 160, and Infernal Slice to 180. Very interesting. Well, let's just quickly do a White Mage scan, because it will make it easier for me to find the PvP section. There we go. Alright, so these are the PvP action changes in 6.2. They've updated the job guide. There is a link on the patch notes. Of course, the patch notes will be linked in the description of this video. So go click that and then find this and click that and you can get to the job guide. Or I'll link the job guide as well. So first off, Warrior, then Bloodwetting. Portion of damage absorbed as HP has been increased from 75% to 100%. Oh my goodness. Bloodwetting is really powerful then in PvP now. Holy moly, that's wow. That's surprising. Gunbreaker, Draw Injunction, recast time has been reduced from 30 to 20 seconds. That's considerable. Not as great as Warriors though. Monk, Meteor Drive. Time required to fill the limit gauge has been increased. Okay, fair enough. I guess it was quite powerful. Dragoon, Chaotic Spring. Portion of damage absorbed as HP has been increased from 100% to 150%. Holy moly. I play Dragoon in PvP. That's awesome. Horrid Roar. Recast time has been reduced from 30 to 25 seconds. These are good changes. I like those. Samurai, Hisatsu Shiten. Recast time has been reduced from 30 to 25 seconds. That's quite considerable, even though Samurai currently wrecks in PvP. Ninja, Saiton Tenshu. The effect duration of Unsealed Saiton Tenshu is now reduced by 1 second each time it's applied to a target with a minimum duration of 4 seconds. Wow. That's actually kind of cool, actually. I like that. Machinist Chainsaw. Additional damage dealt while under the effect of analysis has been reduced from 100% of the target's HP to 95% of the target's HP. Interesting. And Summoner Slipstream now grants increased movement speed to party members standing in a slipstream. Oh, that's really nice. That's a really nice support function. I like that. White Mage, Afflatus Misery potency has been increased to 12,000 from 10,000. Holy moly. Aquavale Barrier Strength has been increased from a heal potency of 6,000 to 8,000. Okay, White Mage might even be getting to where it was before. Miracle of Nature. Range has been reduced from 25 to 15 yards. Seraph Strike, which is obviously that amazing ability. Potency has been increased to 8,000 from 6,000. And Cure 3 potency has been increased from 12,000 to 16,000. White Mage might be the healer to play then, as much as it already was. That's quite considerable. And finally, I believe for at least the updates to what we already had, for Scholar Adlo, increase to potency has been changed from 10% to 8%. That's a bit of a nerf. And Biolysis, the same, 10% to 8% potency. Okay. Interesting changes to Scholar. They're a little bit worse. New PvP actions then. Okay. This is all to do with Astro. The Bowl reduces damage taken by self and target of nearby party members by 10% for 15 seconds. It's not on the hotbar, obviously, because it's a card. And the Arrow reduces weapon skill cast time and recast time, as well as spell cast time and recast time for self or target, and nearby party members by 10%, whilst also increasing movement speed for 10 seconds. Another card. Oh, cool. And as a result of getting the Bowl and the Arrow, the Ewer and Spire are being removed. It's going to be interesting to play Astro in PvP now. Might have to have a look at that. And just finally, I don't think we read this. The following adjustments have been made to PvP actions. The effects of Heavy and Bind will now be applied more quickly, and the grace period for executing combo actions has been increased from 10 to 15 seconds. And that's pretty much all of the updates on the patch notes for PvP and PvE. There is a few other bits down here with the noted issues and stuff right at the bottom, which sometimes I read. We can read those in a second. But yeah, the PvP changes, interesting, honestly. I'm surprised they buffed everything I play, especially with White Mage and Dragoon there. The PvE changes, it's nice to be able to heal without enmity issues, I suppose. That's going to change the way that group comps work and what people complain about. So, yeah, I suppose it reduces some of the, why are you healing when we're not even pulling a mob yet? Well, now you can. It's going to cause interesting issues. Let me know what you think about those. So, resolved issues. The following issues have been addressed. An issue where undertaking duties via duty support or the trust system, wherein NPCs in the healing role did not cast as sooner on themselves when afflicted with status ailments. That's quite funny, actually. I like that. An issue wherein chocobo companions were not recalled when their health reached 0. Really? What did they do then? Just flop on the floor? That's interesting. An issue in the duties Alexander, the burden of a father savage and emanation, wherein damage of certain attacks was not downscaled. Oh, really? Oh. I'm guessing downscaled as in, like, unsynced. Oh, so that'll be easier to do now. I think I did something like this the other day, and I was amazed at how hard something hit in unsynced version. Oh well, fair enough. An issue when playing as warrior in PvE wherein the action icons for Chaotic Cyclone and Inner Chaos were illuminated despite not being ready. I've seen that, actually, when they've lit up and not being usable. Yeah, I've seen that. An issue when playing as Dragoon, when the action Spine Shatter Dive could not be executed after Dragonfire Dive. Same with Astro, where the limit gauge did not fill when using Lady of Crowns or Celestial Opposition on party members close to death. That's surprising. An issue when playing as a Sage in PvE, where queuing the action Zoe while casting Pneuma caused the effect of Zoe to be applied and immediately end when Pneuma was executed. To address this issue, the character motions when executing Pneuma have also been adjusted. I wasn't even aware of this. Interesting. In PvP, wherein party members under the effect of Hide cannot be targeted by actions executed via macros under certain conditions. Very strange stuff. Paladin in PvP, when the healing effect of Confitia was affected by opponent's status effects. More PvP with Samurai action Hisatsu Shiten, affected by opponent's status effects. Oh, the effect of Gunbreaker actions Nebula and Hisatsu Shiten was affected by opponent's status effects. Same for Gunbreaker action Nebula and Samurai, triggered under certain conditions. So yeah, there was certain like blockers for some of those abilities. That's weird. PvP duties when the action damage of a monk action was not reduced. Meteor Drive was not reduced by barrier effects. We had Dragoon under the effect of Sky High could still be afflicted with heavy bind or half asleep. Wow. Ninja in PvP, unsealed Saiton Tenshu could not be applied to opponents under certain conditions. Same with Meisui, when it was affected by status effects that increase or decrease healing potency. Holy moly. Black Mage PvP heavy effect applied by the action Super Flare could be overwritten by other effects with shorter duration. An issue whereas playing Black Mage using Paradox did not refresh the duration of Astral Warmth or Umbral Freeze. Oh, that is surprising. So there's been quite a few issues then that they've resolved here. Certain PvP and PvE action text descriptions were incorrect. Tooltip changes always, errors always happen. It's not something we can always predict, and it's fine, honestly. An issue wherein the graphics for a certain female Lalafell face did not display correctly. I wonder which one that was. I would love to make a Lalafell now with a dodgy face. The graphics of the Far Eastern's officer's hat did not display correctly when worn by Aura characters. I've never seen any issue with that. Interesting. An issue wherein the graphics of certain gear did not display correctly. Wherein certain indoor and outdoor furnishings were categorized incorrectly. Oh yeah, I've seen that. The categories are a little bit messed up. An issue when viewing portraits wherein the visual effects of weapons were prioritized over the character models. As a result of addressing this issue, the camera for portraits will now appear slightly closer to character models, which may cause portraits created prior to 6.2 to display incorrectly. Players who experience issues with camera positioning in their portraits will need to edit and readjust them. Oh, interesting. An issue when viewing portraits wherein characters' breathing is visible under certain conditions. Oh, weird. So like your chest's moving, but you're not. The music played in certain residential areas is incorrect. An issue wherein active help descriptions were incorrect, and other minor text issues have also been addressed. Lots of little issues have been addressed as well. So we've got some current known issues right now. When the patch goes live, it says, an issue when undertaking the quest Seeking Sanctuary, which is actually to get to Island Sanctuary, wherein only the quest icon will display in the recommendations window under certain conditions. Okay, a strange bug. An issue when leaving an Island Sanctuary, wherein accepting the prompt to leave the Island Sanctuary after you have matched to join an instance duty will disconnect you from the server. Okay, this is a big one then. So queuing on Island Sanctuary. Just be aware that this disconnection issue is something you might want to avoid. So maybe just for the limited time, since the servers are going to be hammered by people today, maybe consider not queuing whilst on Island Sanctuary. Just an idea, because that I don't want to be disconnected when I'm doing my work. An issue wherein players cannot retrieve rewards from the achievements window while on Island Sanctuary. Oh, interesting. It's all new tech, though, isn't it, right? An issue wherein players cannot recruit for, disband, a party limited to a specific world when the party leader is on an Island Sanctuary. The party leader must either leave Island Sanctuary or pass leadership to a party member who is not on the Sanctuary. So there's quite a few issues with Island Sanctuary then that they'll probably iron out. An issue when selecting an Island Sanctuary to visit wherein the names of characters visiting other worlds do not display correctly. There's an issue when selecting an Island Sanctuary to visit wherein players in Crossworld Party are not presented with the option to select from a list of party members. Under normal circumstances, they say, players are able to use the world visit system to travel to the world of a Crossworld Party member and visit their sanctuary. Due to this issue, however, the option to do so will not appear while in a Crossworld Party. Until the issue is resolved, players must first use the world visit system and then form a party with recruiting limited to the world server before visiting Island Sanctuary. Wow, that's a lot of stuff to jump through, isn't it? Interesting. It's always amazing how faceted and layered the system's going to get with all these other features like cross-world and server jumping and, you know, cross-data center and things. Very strange. An issue wherein viewing the map or mini-map on Island Sanctuary wherein tooltips do not display when placing the cursor on quest icons. That's strange, that is. An issue wherein players who enter an instance duty or log out of the game while on Island Sanctuary will return to the island at a different location under certain conditions. Certain graphics within Island Sanctuary don't display properly. Island Sanctuary wherein the level of ambient environment sounds does not change when entering buildings. Oh, I suppose that's just a basic issue. Players cannot enter or leave PvP teams, create cross-world link shells, or create fellowships on an Island Sanctuary. Currently, that's an issue. Requesting gear repairs, wherein a blank confirmation prompt erroneously displays under certain conditions. This is the gear repair request feature that's in dungeons and outside of dungeons. The prompt is meant to notify players that a higher grade of dark matter will be consumed. Accepting the gear repair request will use the correct grade of dark matter. Oh, right. An issue where using group pose under wherein characters using certain emotes will not stop moving when paused under certain conditions. That's good. So just keep on dancing. Okay. An issue when previewing portraits wherein activating motions causes character models to stop blinking. An issue wherein certain active help descriptions were not updated to remove the mention of beast tribes. Oh, right. So there's it's going to take a while for things that are low priority, like terminology, to, be completely ironed out. That should be expected. Overall, though, it looks like Island Sanctuary has a few issues because it's a completely new kettle of fish how they've done it. I have no idea how they've done this, if it's like instance based or what, but just remember that you have a 30-minute timer of AFK on the Island Sanctuary, and apparently now if you queue for things, you can disconnect yourself from the video game. So what I would suggest is enjoy your Island Sanctuary, but when you want to do anything outside of it, at least until they do a hot fix or something, teleport back to Limsa or something. That's definitely the top tip. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully you enjoy 6.2. Of course, the day will be filled full of videos, guides on where to get things, and so on. I usually feature a lot of items and things first, so expect the same. And yeah, enjoy 6.2. It looks like an absolute chonker of a patch, and I can't wait to get stuck in as well. All right, much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.